Kitimat's new apti, Ikiakolas Captains. Hello, I'm called Ab, and welcome to the Isla live stream. Happy Friday. Have I told you guys? I'm gonna turn off the vocal effect there. Have I told you guys how much I like that intro music? I really enjoy that. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna change the background music this week. I've been playing the same one for quite a while, and I've been taking a look at different background tracks. I'm going to go with this one. It's called Dragon Dreams. Yeah, I like that one. So I'm going to jump right into the broadcast today. So I have a document ready to go. So I'll take you there. You should see it on the screen now. So this is the live stream agenda for today, February 2nd, 2024. It is the second live stream of the year. As I mentioned in the previous live stream, I was thinking of reducing the number of times I do the live streams. Last year I was doing them once a week. That got to be a bit much in terms of time. So I've switched it to a monthly live stream, and it's been working out pretty well. I find that I have more time to do other work, so that's come in really handy. So hopefully you guys have been hanging in there. It hasn't been too bad for you guys waiting around a month for the next live stream, but yeah, I think I'm going to keep things this way. I did think about doing a bi-weekly live stream once every 2 weeks, but I find that the monthly live stream seems to work pretty well for me, so I'm going to keep it that way. During the last live stream, I talked about the fact that when I introduce myself, I tend to switch it up. So this is the one that I used this week. Nuh Abti. Nuh Abti means I'm called Ab. So other times you might hear me say Ab Planugwa, or I might also say Ab Kilosunugwa. Either way, it's just different ways of saying I am called Ab. And you can do the same if somebody asks your name. You can take one of these 3 phrases and replace my name with yours. And that's basically a way you can answer somebody when they ask you what your name is in islak. So today I'm going to go through the day of the week and the month and the year and things like that. So we start off with Sikyapinsu. Sikyapinsu. This means, it doesn't just mean Friday, it means it is Friday. And it has to do with the counting system. So Sikya means 5. Pun or puns means it's like a counter. And then this U means something kind of like now or today. So Sikyapinsu means it is Friday. Sikyapins just means Friday, and I tend not to say that because Haisla words are essentially descriptions. When you add context to them, then you get a better understanding of the meaning. So that's why I've added a suffix here, and it basically puts everything together and tells you that it is Friday today. Hakwilithlo. Hakwilithlo. That means it is Friday or February. That's the month. And this is the time where people are normally out of food. So their winter supply of food is starting to run out, and they're starting to clean everything out. So that's basically the isla meaning behind what we call February now. Isla is what we would call that month. Isla means it is February. Next we have Sikyo. Sikyo means 5. So this means that it is the second day of the month, so I should fix that. So would actually be Ma'aloh. Ma'aloh is the number 2. So it is the second day of Isla. 2024, Asunho. 2024, Asunho. It is the year 2024. Tsuwunho. Tsuwunho means it is winter. So that's the intro for the date for today, and how you would explain all of that in islak. This is the way I say it. There's probably other ways you could mention all of this, maybe in shorter terms, but this is the way that I like to introduce the time of the month and the week and things like that. So again, that's one of the unique features of the isla language, is there's different ways to essentially say the same thing. Just like I was mentioning here, there's at least 3 different ways that you can tell people what your name is. Whichever one you choose is up to you. And I tend to choose this first one, Nuh Abti. And so this is also one way of telling people the time of year and giving them other information, the season, and other things like that. So this is the way that I do it. Another speaker might choose to do it differently, and that's okay. So I was talking a little bit before about providing context. So the reason I add suffixes to all of these words, I don't use the words by themselves, is that the suffixes provide context. So one thing that people might not realize is that when you use isla words, some assembly is required. So isla words by themselves are basically descriptions. They describe something. They don't say anything about that thing. So Sikyapens means Friday. That's all it means. Just Friday, the day Friday, or the 5th day of the week. If you say Sikyapens to somebody, you're just saying Friday. You're not saying anything about Friday. So when you add suffixes, like just the addition of the letter U, now it means it is Friday. I added the letter U to Hekwalithla. So it becomes Hekwalithla. That means it is February right now. So that's something that is a very good practice when you're speaking islak, when you're learning the language. Learning how it works really goes a long way in helping you understand the language. So that's something that I would really encourage people to do, is to not think about isla words as being complete. They often lack context. So that's what I tend to do when I use isla words, is I add context to them. So any word that you'll see in a isla dictionary is not really complete. I mean, they are full words, but generally you don't use the full words as they are. when you put high isla words into a sentence. Because if you think about it, when you talk in English, English is made up of a lot of small, complete words. They're separate words. So English is English. So there's no change needed when I use it in an English sentence. Is, again, this word never changes. So it's always the same. Made can be different depending on the context that you're using. So it could be make, for example. So this is something that involves changing a word. So you can't use the word make here. You can't say English is make small, complete words. You have to change it. So then it becomes made. That's what I'm talking about when I'm mentioning that high isla words change. I can't use the word make here in this sentence because it doesn't fit grammatically. I have to change it. So I changed it to made. So that's 3 words altogether. I've only changed one of them. Small. There are different forms of the word small. Like you could say smaller, smallest, things like that. So those changes are not necessary in this context. I just use the word small. So that stays the same. Complete. You have other words like completed that could potentially be used, but not in this context, so we don't need that. So the word complete stays the same. Words is the last word in this sentence. And like the basic form of it is the word word. But we can't use that in this sentence because it refers to one word. We need to talk about more than one word. So we add S. So out of all of these words that I've used in this sentence, most of them stayed the same. The only ones that changed were make and word. How many words are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 out of the 6 words I put together in this English sentence changed. So a very small percentage of the words actually changed. This is not the case in high isla. When you put together a high isla sentence, pretty much all the words are going to change in some way. So that's an example, just using English. So this is one of the reasons why thinking about English doesn't really help you very well. It doesn't help you that much when you're learning high isla, because the 2 languages are completely different. They do not operate in the same manner. And that's one example of how they differ from each other, is that when you're putting English sentences together, you're making very few changes. Most of the words are complete and they're not going to change. The only thing that changes really is the word order. You'll change the word order depending on the sentence. You'll change some of the words depending on the context. So you might change the word made, you might change word to words, and so on and so forth. So I find that it's really helpful to not think about how English works and try to apply that to high isla, because it's just going to end up confusing you. When I create a high isla sentence, I don't build the sentence in English and then translate that to high isla. I think of the individual high isla words first, and then I combine them into the appropriate word order. So I think of individualize the words. I think of the changes that need to be made to the words. I think of the order that they need to go in. So if I thought about English first, that would create a lot more work for me to try and take an English sentence and translate that into islak, as opposed to thinking isla first. So that's a little tip for everybody who's starting to learn the language. I also wanted to bring attention to some resources that are out there. So I'm going to switch to my browser. So I think I'm going to, open up my browser here. I'm going to switch tabs here very quickly. So I wanted to mention that there is an Instagram page, and it's called the Islak Learners Group page. So all one word, Islak Learners Group. So we have a few followers. This page was inactive for quite a while, and I've kind of brought it back. And I've been trying to post things to it regularly, so I believe I posted this video here early December, and these other ones here are from this month. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. These last 5 are from this month, and so I think I'm gonna stop the background music here for a minute, and I'm going to show you the latest video that I posted to Instagram. So I think I'll just play it, and you can get a sense of what the video is about by watching. Oh, I should. Baba Owens. Baba Owens. Mama Owens. Mama Owens. Mama Owens. Baby Owens. So I think you get the idea. So basically I took the song Mana Mana from The Muppet Show, and I replaced that Mana Mana with different family terms. So Baba Owens. Baba Owens means my grandfather. So Baba'o means grandfather. The last part of the word, unts, means that I'm talking about my grandfather, and he's away when I'm speaking about him. So he's not right next to me. He's not next to the person I'm talking to. He's somewhere else. The next verse is Mama Owens. So again, that means my grandmother, who's away at the moment. Then it's Bibi Owens, my uncle away. By the way, Bibi-O is a pet name. The more formal term for it is Huslab. Huslab. So you could say Huslabens. But since Bibi Owens fits the rhythm of the song, that's what I used. And then the last one is Menasutans. Menasutans means my sibling of the same gender away. People tend to use Menasut to mean brother. It can mean brother in certain situations. So that's why I describe it as my sibling of the same gender who is not here at the moment. So this is a video that I got an idea for a little while ago, and you can see in the video I'm playing an instrument. This is a ukulele that I built myself out of an old cigar box. So I used a cigar box and a piece of 1x2 lumber, and I built a concert ukulele out of it. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to build one myself, was because Most ukuleles that you see out there are the really small ones. Those are called soprano ukuleles. They have a 12-inch scale length. This is a 15-inch scale length. That's the basic measurement of a concert ukulele. So it's bigger than most of the ukuleles that you'll see out there, the soprano ukuleles. So this is a concert ukulele that I built myself. And I learned how to play the part of the song that is sung by the background singers. And one thing I like about Instagram is that when you upload a video to it, it just basically keeps replaying the video. And I think that's really helpful, so that if you're trying to learn something, you can just let it play. It'll just keep repeating instead of you manually having to keep playing it over and over again. So you can see there, there's a few videos that I've uploaded over the past month or so. So you can go there. If you're on Instagram, you can find islak Learners Group, all one word, on Instagram. Next, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. One is the islak website. So I've shown this in past videos. I've talked about the website a lot. But just to remind you that the website is there, it has a lot of resources on the website. That was the main purpose behind me creating this website, was to gather a lot of language resources in one place. And as I've been discovering different resources that were pre-existing, and I've also been creating my own resources, they get added to here. So they're all in one place. So you have lots of different things to look at here on the website. So the one that I wanted to talk about here is the isla calendar. So this is something that I created last month. And in the post here, I wrote, here is the Giduadus isla. Giduadus means calendar of, isla means isla. So Giduadus isla means isla calendar. So it's this year's calendar that I designed. As I said a couple of weeks ago, I finished designing the calendar. So it's up here on the website. You can see the URL up here, islak.wordpress.com/isla-calendar. So this is the PDF form here, the PDF file. There's a PDF reader on the website, which is very handy, so you can actually look through the whole document. So you have the cover, obviously on the front. On the inside cover, there's an explanation of the names of the month, of each month, and also the names of the days and how all that works. There are sound files that accompany this document. So this is the website or the web address that I just read out to you. It's also here in the document. So if you download the, actually you wouldn't be able to do that, but for anybody that might be, if you share the document with somebody, they can click on this web address and it'll bring you right to this page. And on the cover, there is, you can see it's the same as the banner here on the website. This is my picture here that I took a few years ago of the mountain range that we call Giltwinu, which is across the bay from Kitimat village. And it's used to tell the time of year. This is how our Isla ancestors would tell what time of year it was. They would watch the sun setting behind this mountain. So that's why I have it on the cover of this calendar. So I think it's quite appropriate. You have each month listed with the Isla name for each month. You have the names of each day also in islak. And then you just have the regular layout for each calendar. February is a leap year, this is a leap year, so February has an extra day. So there will be a 29th day this month, in case you're wondering. So all the months are here. You can use this to help organize yourself. If you have a meeting on December 4th, you can write it down here. If you have a printed copy of this calendar, there are very few copies because I printed these myself by hand, so I didn't mass produce them. So there's only so many that I can make because they take a long time for me to print and fold and staple. So I only gave out a few copies of the actual printed dictionary. In the back of the calendar, I have a list of the numbers from 1 to 31 because, as you can see, the numbers actually get quite long. So you can see the number 25 translates to Minsuchbanagi Sikyagyu. So there's not really room to write Minsuchbanagi Sikyagyu here in this little square. So I just put the number 25 there, and I have the names of all the numbers here in Islak. So this is something you can use to help yourself understand the counting system in Islak. And also in the back of the calendar, I have just a quick list of the days of the week from Sunday to Saturday there. I've got the seasons listed here. So Tsuung is winter, Wiyagiwa is spring, Heitnach is summer, Gilam Gils is fall. I have a quick list of the months. So last month was January. Heikwilithla, this month is February, and so on and so forth. I have the different species of salmon listed here. You might wonder why I have salmon species here. Well, look at the Haisla word for spring salmon, kabis. And then look at the Haisla word for May, kapilakos. This basically means the time of spring salmon spawning. So you have kabis, spring salmon, kapilakos, time of spring salmon. Hasten is sockeye, heisilakos, June. Kyapi, spring or pink salmon or humpback salmon, Kyapilakos, July. Guachanis, dog salmon, Guachelakos, August. Zuwin, Coho, Tahuilakos, September. So that's the correlation between salmon species and the middle months of the year. So these are all based on the different species of salmon running at that time of the year. I also have the lyrics to Happy Birthday listed there because obviously people have birthdays throughout the year, and it'll be helpful to have lyrics there available so you can sing to people when it's their birthday, on whatever day of the year their birthday happens to fall upon. So it would be Ekiakalas loyas, Ekiakalas loyas, Ekiakalas loyas angwa, Ekiakalas loyas. So obviously you would put the person's name in here instead of saying angwa. This is basically a placeholder. I just wanted to have something there. So angwa basically means someone. So happy birthday, someone. If you're singing this to somebody, you would put their name there. So that is the calendar for 2024. You can view it here in the PDF reader. You can download it here where this arrow is. You can print it directly from here if you have a printer. You want to print out a copy of this. You can also download it down here, so you can have a copy, a digital copy for yourself. And these are the recordings, as I mentioned before. So these are the months. So you can listen to the names of the months and read along with the calendar. And the second audio file here is the days of the week. So those are all there for you. The only sound files I don't have are for seasons, salmon species, and happy birthday. Mostly because I was in a bit of a hurry to get the calendar done. I wanted to finish the calendar, get it uploaded, make it available for everybody as soon as I possibly could. So recording sound files and editing and uploading and all of that would have taken time. So eventually I'll get those uploaded and add them to this webpage. But for now, I've got sound files for the months and the days of the week. So those are all available for you here on the Islak website. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my agenda here. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was isla handwriting. So I'm going to switch back to my PDF, or switch to my PDF. I forgot I had it open on the calendar. So this is like the PDF version. It's exactly the same thing that we saw on the website. Everything's there. So if you download it, this is basically what it'll look like when you open it in a PDF reader. So that's there. I wanted to talk a little bit about handwriting. So what I wanted to mention is that there actually is an art form. There is an art to handwriting the Isla language. There are specific symbols that don't occur in English. So if you're not familiar with them, you might not have a good idea of the best way to write them by hand. So this comes down to what we refer to as lateral symbols. So lateral symbols are made by putting the tongue in your mouth up against the little bump behind your upper front teeth and blowing air. So this symbol here, you make the sound by going, and when you're doing that, the air is coming out around both sides of your tongue, or one side. That's what lateral means. Lateral means sideways, basically. So it means lateral sounds are sounds where air is coming out around the sides of your tongue. So there's a difference between the typed symbols and the handwritten symbols. So I've color-coded this. Anything you see in red, don't do that. Anything you see in green, do that instead. So the reason I say this is because when I'm typing the language, you might see this symbol here. This is a lambda. You can see that it has like a line going up, and then there's curls at the end of it. When you're writing this, you don't need to include those curls. You really don't have to do that. Instead of taking the time to do all those curls, you can just make straight lines. So a straight line going up and down this way, like a backslash on a computer, and then it has a little leg there. So, yeah, all straight lines. That's faster, it's easier. This is a barred lambda. You can see it has the curl there, line going through it, line holding it up. Instead of doing that, you can just write straight lines. You can make straight lines there for the barred lambda. Then you have the barred ejective lambda. So it has the curl there, line going through it, line coming from underneath, an apostrophe on top. When you're writing, you can just make it all straight lines. It's a lot easier, a lot faster. This last symbol is called a tilde L. So you don't have to draw these little points on the end that flare out at both ends of the L. You can just use a straight line for the L. And you can see there's a curved line going through it. I tend to spend a little bit more time curling this line so that people don't mistake it for a T. If you don't put much of a curl in this squiggly line going through, people could mistake it for a lowercase letter T. So that's why I take the time and really kind of almost exaggerate this S curve going through the L. So obviously I didn't actually handwrite these. I found a font that is similar, just to give you an idea of how these symbols should look when you handwrite them. So you don't have to do this. I mean, you can, if you want to take that time to add these curls and everything, I mean, go ahead, but I would advise you to just use straight lines when you're handwriting these symbols. So the symbols in red, don't do. The ones in green, do. The ones in green, the first three, all straight lines, except for the apostrophe there. So this is the way that I handwrite the language. So if I do this, then it's probably a good idea for everybody else to do that as well. So switching back to my camera, and I just realized now that I didn't turn the background music back on when I ran that video. So that's what I have for you this week. Hopefully that helps. And again, I'm going to continue on with this schedule of doing the live stream once a month. So we'll see you the first Friday of March at 2 p.m. So until next time, remember, learning is its own reward. Escribuelas. Wah.